Hey, how's it going? I just wanted to share some more thoughts uh, to just inform and let you guys know about myself. One of the things I talked about before was how learning German had helped me, and in some ways it did, in some ways it didn't. I think that it gave me access to information that I didn't have before. One of those was this book that magazine that I appreciate. Um, and one of the things that struck me was just the way that they lived, and particularly there was an illustration of one of the generals in here, a Prussian general, who had had features, an appearance that doesn't look like the stereotypical German person, and so those things I was surprised to learn about, because so much of what I saw growing up was not that, and limited information, especially about the origins of the runes, the culture, the geography, the plants, and so it's a very interesting culture, and I think that it has made a lot of good contributions to the world in many ways, and just like other cultures, it has issues dealing with technology and land use and things like that. So that was an important part of this topic. But then I would say that learning German also negatively affected me, because I got a little mindset, and I think that it negatively affected me because I limited opportunities for myself. I was too harsh on myself, and I think that happened because of a mindset that I had associated with that language, with that culture. And so during the process of learning it, I was living a very tough life that didn't really respect my boundaries, and I ended up crashing afterwards. So that was one thing. And the other thing was that people around are just sensitive to that, and I didn't realize what it meant to other people in my life. So I became aware of, what is it that the world, what is it that my ancestors, what is it that my family, my friends, what is it that they want me to do? And most people would say, oh, well, no, you do you, and screw them, And I think that's just like an easy way to think about things. I think it's good to evaluate what other people think sometimes. And I realized that I should be learning Spanish, and I should be practicing Spanish more than German. And so that's where I went. And that's where I'm continually going, because I think Spanish is the language that I spoke when I was a kid, and it's the language my family speaks, and my ancestors, and it's a language that connects me to a lot of people, including people in Germany, so and in Europe. So if that's something that interests me, then I can still connect to it. Another interest of mine, and something that I'd like to pursue more, is learning Arabic. And I was given those books, and that has been an interest of mine. I think that Arabic is a really interesting language. When I consider it as a nomadic language, it makes much more sense. It just has a lot of different influences. But the similarity to Hebrew is sort of that shared root, that shared source. And that's a very powerful connection, because it gives perspective to sort of the same thing. And I really do believe that they are talking about the same thing, except religious books, they talk about a lot of different topics, and they're organized in a way where they're translated to say certain things that people want them to say. They're organized in ways, they're written in certain ways. And so I think that the wisdom that will be revealed to anyone who seeks it is to be able to discern all this, and to extract the wisdom and the truth from these texts. And it's very popular in our society now to dismiss them, because we're used to like scientific books like this, or like a textbook about plants and truth from the perspective of science. And yet even that can be misleading. And I think many people, I was surprised to learn that science means knowledge in Latin. So we're talking about knowledge, and there's limits to knowledge. There's limits to what we can understand, and there's also illusions and confusion. And so a lot of times science, there's a lot of things that I think people say are true, and I think that one day scientists will come and do an experiment and show that it's not exactly what they thought it was. And I think that's part of the process. So another book this was another one from when I was younger, and it's Modern Hebrew. But I think those are interesting languages because they are languages that really are the source of all our beliefs, and yet our beliefs are so different from the beliefs of those people back then. So the question is, what happened? Are our beliefs now wrong? I think that some of it is error in translation, perhaps we don't understand well what the words mean. And so when they're talking about, hell or things like that, there's different ways to sort of talk about suffering, and I think that that's really what they want to do. Show, of course, religion has been about societal control in a good way and a bad way, and so that plays a big role too. And so I think that these topics really interest me, and I research them, and I think that I recommend people to look into them. Plants are important, especially if you live in a climate that or have access to food through a market, to eat vegetarian, with a mix of different things. You can get a lot of what you need. However, still need to rely on sometimes some other source of protein. It's better to look this information up, and then you'll know the truth of it. But yeah, plants are amazing, and I think that they are an important tool for the future of our society. I think it's important to know too that the societies that we often revere lacked the knowledge that we have today, and they don't have landscapes that have many trees or shrubs. So that's important to observe and see how that negatively affected the quality of life, even though they portrayed themselves as being the best. And in many ways, in terms of technological advancement, they were. However, all those things had consequences, especially war, which is one of the worst things, and just caused so much trauma, and I think that's something that people justify so much, and so few people actually experience it. It seems like a terrible thing, and it's not something that I think we want. I think we want peace. We want excitement. We want adrenaline. We want to feel part of something bigger. We want to feel like we have a purpose in life, and those things can be found elsewhere. The military might have a future helping people, but its main role is to fight wars, and I don't agree with that. I think that's wrong, and I think that we have to soften our heart and look at the evidence that shows not all human populations have been as active in war as others, and think about the environmental reasons for that, and think about how that will be one of the reasons why war will be less common in the future, just like it is now compared to 100 years ago. So peace.